All right, and we are live. Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. I actually have my good friend Creighton Hobbs on the film on here right now, talking about his newest project that he actually created and everything for a short film that he actually made called "Blinded by the Darkness." This film was really great. I said to him, "You know what? You need to go on ahead and do an interview," and he gladly did. So, say hello to everyone, Creighton.
Hey everyone! Hey, how y'all doing? I am happy to be here with you, John, on Movie Lovers Unite. I can't say the rest of it. Yeah, so I'm like, it's like, what is it? Movie Lovers, TV Lovers Unite. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got it. But yeah, I am so happy to be here, and I am here to answer all the questions that you have, John, and everybody else that's watching.
Awesome. I cannot wait to dive into this thing. And you know what? On here, just Movie Lovers Unite, just keeping it simple, as simplistic as I can, because it's actually easier for people to actually find. Brain says hi. Hey,
Oh,
baby.
hey!
But, okay, so I have a quick question for you, and I just want to say this. I really enjoyed the short film. You definitely gave us something to look forward to for Halloween. This
Thank
is
you.
a brand new. You're very welcome. This is a brand new surprise that you actually gave everyone. And I just have a quick question. I just have this question for you. Like, how did you get that camera angle so perfect when you're in the car and the thing is, and then all of a sudden you're just seeing your car and it's hovering over your head and everything? Was that anything to do with? Did you do some type of CGI work with that, or how did you actually do that scene?
Wait, which one was it? The one where?
It was actually the one where you're talking in the car, and then there's this little side thing that actually happens where you're just taken out of the car, and it looks like something's hovering over the car to actually give you this setting in the woods. So I wasn't sure if you
Where?
were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where I was where the it showed where I was driving and that
yeah.
kind of thing, and yeah, okay, that originally I was gonna have a camera drone, right?
Okay,
But when I was doing the first, when I was doing it at first, it was like the I couldn't get it high enough, and then like when you get it way too high and you're driving, the thing will whoop, it'll drop, and so I was like, I better stop this before I break it, And
right.
luckily, I went and found footage that was stock footage, and I found stock footage that looked almost identical to my vehicle. So I used that stock footage and I did special effects, CGI, made it look like moonlight was. I was taking a night drive. So
Okay,
that's, yeah. So originally I was going to do it, but the thing just was like, boom,
okay. Because
So,
it does look good. I have to give you credit though. You used the animation style in the way that it needed to be done. So I give you
mm,
huge credit for that.
thank you, thank you.
You're
Yeah,
very
it
welcome.
was yeah, so I just grabbed stock footage and I was like, well, this looks like a vehicle, and I just took it and made it from daytime and made it dark, to
Okay.
where yeah, that's how I did it. That was the magic.
Okay. Uh, the name of the movie, Brandy, is Blinded by the Darkness. So I just want to let you know that's the name of the film. Uh, Another thing though too was I really have to say I love the camera angles like I mentioned before, especially
Thank
with
you.
it being hovered over. You're very welcome. The camera angle that I was actually impressed with was it kind of had like a little Blair Witch Project kind of feel to it. Is when you're out getting out of the car, then all of a sudden the lights kind of flicker, then you disappear. Next thing you know, and the camera actually goes to the point where it's like first person view, kind of like a Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th kind of vibe inside the
Yeah.
car. So I was just wondering, where's the magic when it came down to making that scene? Whenever
Yeah.
the lights kind of flash and then all of a sudden you just disappear. What about that scene? That's something that I was actually wondering about.
Well, I when you make a film, you've got I mean, just umpths and umpths of options to, like, do I want to set it here? Do I want it at level? Do I want to go here? Do I want to set it on a tripod and there isn't no shaking or anything to that nature? But when I was fixing actually to shoot that scene, I was like, what would be kind of cool is if I made this a realistic point of view, just to give it that Blair Witch, that you know, I want to give people a different taste rather than just what here, than here,
Right.
and that was just my own directorial thing. I was like, well, let me try it, and sure enough, I was when I saw it, I was like, that worked out pretty well on the
That
fly.
worked out really well, to be honest with you. I definitely loved it and everything. That was actually something that I really have to say I really enjoyed. I'm not a big fan of found footage type movies, but when it came down to doing your camera angles and everything, it wasn't a shaky cam kind of thing. It was
Yeah.
laid out perfectly well. I was able to see everything and things like that. That's one of the pet peeves I have with found footage movies is the fact that there's shaky cam work
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it doesn't show everything that it's supposed to show you. So I was
Mhm.
like, how am I supposed to go ahead and feel something whenever I don't? Oh,
Mhm.
another thing too that I want to actually mention. Tamika's here. She said, "Hi guys,"
Ah, Tamika.
and Cause Mael. I think that's actually how you say it. If I'm butchering it, I am so sorry. But that person said that was a cool scene with what we were talking about with the drone hovering and
Yeah.
everything. Then
Thank
Shirley
you.
Hobbs.
My mama.
Yep, your mama's
Hi,
here.
mama.
Because I love the name of the film. To me, it drew me into it. I agree. The name of the film alone has a little bit of mystery to it
Yeah.
and everything, which was perfect. Another thing, though, too, is you started the film off with a Richard Nixon quote. So I want to know what drew you in to say, look, I want to use a presidential quote and I want to use Richard Nixon as a way to actually tell this story.
Well, okay, so when I was shooting this movie, I did that first. I put it up on Facebook, that where I was captured and all that. All that scene. I did that first. And I put it up, just not thinking, I guess. and but I remember, when I was doing it, and then I started rewriting everything. I was like, in that, in when I was driving, I say that I don't know if it's a political climate or something, or I say that. So I love movies where at the very beginning you can reference something to the middle, you know,
Hmm.
and so I was like, I gotta find something kind of cool or different that some president that we've had in the past, not current, but like a presidential person in the past has said that would tie in with all of this movie, the synopsis. And so sitting on my computer and Googling up, presidential quotes, presidential, things. And I saw that and it was said by Richard Nixon. And I was like, that really ties in with this movie. And I was like, well, okay, he said it. Now, why not? And so
Okay.
it just kind of, it wasn't, it was just something like, you know, it's one of those sayings that I thought was just, it would fit in well with it.
Right, and I can feel that. It definitely sets the tone. I also love it when you actually have the whole entire mafia or someone that's after you, and
Yeah.
this girl's actually paying them to whack you.
Right.
So, in a certain sense, some people would actually say that maybe it might be the Illuminati type of thing to it, where people just want to shut you up and everything
Uh-huh.
and want to have you whacked for speaking the truth or something like that. So you actually use the Richard Nixon thing.
See,
But
yeah, see, and that's my whole filming technique. Anything in this movie you can look at and come to your own interpretation with.
that's the beauty of art, though, right?
Yeah.
because you can look at a piece of painting and somebody else might see it vision or might see it different than you
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
everything. So I thought it was actually perfect. Oh, your mom actually said this.
Oh,
She goes, yes, that Richard Nixon quote was unique. It was shocking in a good way.
yeah. Thanks.
And
Yeah.
and then Tamika, she says, yeah, it was a great quote, ironically from Nixon.
Right. Yeah.
LOL.
It was ironic, and it's kind of like, yeah, it just fit, and now I know you, John. I know you love the mob, right? I know.
Right.
So what's the question about the mob thing?
Okay, my question is this: like, how did you get that in there? How did you get that to fit the tone for that movie? You would actually think that actually played out in the first half and everything, but then all of a sudden there's this little mystery aspect to it, right? Where
Hmm.
you have someone that's paying the mob to whack you. So my question is this: how did you lay down the groundwork towards that? How did you get to that point where, like, what would be fun? Let me go on ahead and get someone to pay somebody to whack me.
Yeah.
So
Well,
how did you get that out there?
okay, so uh, you know, I am a big, history person, and I love the mob and all that, right? But I was like, there needs to be a new little take on it. I was like, there needs to be some kind of new mystery with the mob because that's why people like it, because it's secretive, it's something,
Right.
and that's why I went with that aspect to make it like I give you just enough, but to keep you wanting more.
Right. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
And you definitely made. I was eating that up nonstop. I'm going to be honest with you. And Tamika might actually have some questions as well in a few minutes as too.
Oh.
So Tamika, if you have any questions, go on ahead. Do your thing, girl. Go on ahead and ask some questions if you want to. So, anyways, another thing too that I was actually wondering about as well was the other thing that I really have to say that was creepy, but in a good way, was the fact that you know whenever you're in this plastic saran wrap that you're actually in. So my question is this: how do you film that? Like, did you have to have a camera next to you to actually film that,
Right.
or how? Here's the thing: I'm always about camera angles. You know me. If you listen to my
Right.
podcast, I pay attention to camera angles because camera angles can actually glue you into a scene more than dialogue can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And well, and as you could tell in that scene, there was no dialogue besides me gurgling.
Right, coughing up blood.
Yeah. But okay, so really, what I had that is actually a white trash bag.
Okay, that's as simplistic as you can get.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a white
So,
trash bag. Yeah, that I put over me, and so I'm filming like this, right, with my because you can't do too much, but I had to hold the camera like if I'm holding the camera here above me, like this, but put protective clear glass over it, so when I would spit up the blood, it wouldn't get on the camera and lens, and that would be a mess. But so I had to actually hold that, and like where it would come down, I wanted a close up, like I wanted you to feel as if you was right there, and I wanted you to feel that claustrophobic, that you were enclosed in there with me, right? So I put the camera on my chest right here, and I had to get the perfect angle, to where it would function.
right.
And yeah, yeah, that's how that trick was done.
But yeah, I have to say, you definitely made us feel like we were not just watching a film. You made us feel like we were in that bag with you, and we're both trying to survive at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
that's great. Yeah, my mom when she after she watched the premiere, she was like, it looked like you was in an alien craft. But I was like, that's great. If I ever shoot an alien movie, now I know what to do. Get a white trash bag, you know?
Right? Oh, Tamika said this. She said, "Yes, that was my favorite scene too." And you were freeing yourself from the sack. How did you shoot that scene, that professional scene? So,
Yeah, it was like, um, actually, I got a inspiration from Game of Thrones, where there in Game of Thrones there was a scene. I don't know. Did you ever watch that scene where it was Battle of the Bastards?
yeah, that's
That
my
that
favorite scene.
Okay. Okay, so you remember that part where Jon Snow was being covered up by all these dead bodies and you felt
Yeah.
claustrophobic? That's what I was wanting you to feel. When somebody would
Okay.
watch it, I wanted you to feel like you was there with, you know, me, the unknown character. But
Right.
like so I had to play around. I knew what to do, but I had to just play it and get it just perfect to where, you know, it would look right. And like
Right.
actually there was one of the scenes that was done by accident in that where I was in the bag in the sack thing,
Yeah.
um where I took the protective thing off and I started breathing my hot air on that, and I made the lens actually fog.
Okay.
So that was a
That's very
natural,
creative.
yeah, that was a natural effect. And when I was like, "Oh God, it worked," you know.
That's
So
awesome, though, man. I'm just thrilled at the fact that it actually worked out in your favor. Another thing, so too, is Tamika actually had a couple of questions too. Matter of fact, she actually made this statement. Let me go on ahead and get into this real quick. She says, "John is taking all my questions," and then she goes, "Do you film with a phone or an actual camera? Do you think the future of film will result to using phones?"
I filmed this with my camera, my iPhone. Sorry, my iPhone. That is not endorsed either, but I have to pay for the dang thing. But um, you know, the future. I really and I, honest to God, believe this. What you shoot, or if you know how to play around with settings and like stuff like that, the quality that you can get from an iPhone is just as good, I would say, as a $30,000 camera, film camera. If you really know how to play with it, you know. So I think that as time goes forward, I really think that iPhones are going to be more and more,
Efficient.
especially on the indie market. You know, indie films like me.
I agree with you on that too. Because I remember watching Comic Book Men with Kevin Smith, and he actually said nowadays people can just use their cell phones to go ahead and film something, and then
Hmm.
take it, edit what you actually made, and make that into a full feature length film,
Yeah.
opposed to having these big, huge cameras and everything that you guys used to have back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's a new way. It's a new age of digital and everything too. Because some
Yeah.
people, it's just like 7 millimeter films. Some people still love the 7 millimeter feel. Some
Yeah.
people love filming digitally.
Yeah.
So it's just whatever you prefer.
Yeah. It's just I really think that you know it as new stuff comes out, it's just going to get better and better and better and better. So yeah, I love shooting on my iPhone. It's I love it.
I agree. I mean, I shot a couple of things here and there with my cell phone, like concerts and stuff like that, and I tried editing them and things like that. But nowhere on the level that you actually do your stuff on, because
Nowhere on my nerd level, it's like, you know,
well, I try to get as perfect as I can, and it just doesn't
right,
measure up. So
right.
there's that. Oh, Tamika said something. She said, "Yeah, the commercial for the new iPhone 12 shows a lot of
Mhm.
versatility with filming.
Yeah, it really does. It just so I'm deciding whether I want to do that and get an iPhone 12 for sure. Oh,
Oh,
somebody.
yeah,
Oh,
Brandy said, when is the next film we can look forward to from you?
well, actually, do you want to ask that like that
But
question or
we're gonna hold off on that question
yeah,
because I know we
okay.
were gonna tease it towards the end. But
Yeah.
that is a very good question, babe. That is a very good
Okay.
question.
Actually, what my next thing that's coming out like within a week is How Many Chances. So, I've got an email from the distributor, and they're saying it was supposed to be out today, but it didn't happen. But they're so like within a week, I would think How Many Chances will be ready, but that's
Right.
theory. But that's my
Okay.
next big thing that's going to be released.
And then mom says, I feel like that this film is begging for a sequel or two. It left me wanting more of the story. So we're gonna
You're
get to
not.
that in a minute.
Yeah, yeah. You're not the
Because you and I
only
both
one.
talked about that.
Yeah, I actually I've had such wonderful responses from Facebook and social media, and I had one lady. Her name is Holly, and if she's watching, hey, and she told me she said I have had to watch that thing about 2 or 3 times already. She had to watch it back to back. She was like, I had so many questions going on in my mind. I was like, Hitchcock would be proud.
Yes, most definitely. Oh, Kazamile said this, saying we wished it was longer.
Yeah, me too. I know. I had some issues in filming.
Still,
Whew.
I mean, for the little bit that he gave us and everything, I was very pleased with it.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. You're very welcome. I cannot praise you enough for this film because I really enjoyed the short film. I love watching um, short films and stuff like that because you can
Yeah.
speculate later on as to maybe what happened to a certain character, what's going to happen next. So I do love the imagination of that. That's why I love short
Hmm.
films and independent films. Oh,
Yeah.
Tamika said we need a part two and a part three.
Oh. Oh.
Your mind is, I can see your mind all of a sudden just going right now
If I
to
could
what
get
you could do.
here's what's going to seal that deal. If I could get Frenchie to come down and just start doing voiceovers for me, I'll start filming automatically.
I'll try and make that happen, sir. I'll see what I can do about Frenchie.
Because
But
my God, I mean, he sung Tamika "Happy Birthday" in French, and I want that.
uh,
Uh,
you know what? I'm gonna actually chat him up later on. I'm gonna say, look, you need to sing to Crichton. But my question is this: speaking of getting people to cast and getting voiceovers and stuff like that, the most difficult thing is to find the actors and actresses to fit the bill for what you're trying to do and trying to create. Was there any problems within trying to make this film possible with some of the actors or actresses, or any complications with casting in general?
yeah. Okay. I originally did cast somebody, right? And Bernice was going to do it, but she got corona, and her husband and one of his friends, they was going to be a security guys, and so there was going to be like an action sequence actually that I had planned out. That I mean, so it was really going to be like really great. Well, she got sick. Then I talked to two different actresses, but the problem was they lived over 2 hours away, and it just wouldn't have worked. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this is a movie I wanted to make for free for everybody, right?
Right.
And I was like, I don't have the budget to pay for a hotel room, pay for food, and pay you something, on top of all that. I was like, I don't have the finances to do that. So I was like, well, so, and then I kept having issues after issues trying to get actresses and to do this. They would say, "Yeah, I'll do it," and then they wouldn't show up or they wouldn't do it. So I that's where I had to get really, really creative, and like I would email a friend of mine, who's got another studio, and I was like, "Look, I need a young lady to be walking in a park, and make it just have her walk." And so he was like, "How about this?" I was like, "That's perfect," And then the other parts, I went to stock footage. I actually
Okay.
got stock footage of like the girl pushing, you know, the money over and that kind of thing, and the girl laying
Hmm.
on the table. That's stock footage,
Okay, that's actually pretty cool how you
and
did that because I was curious about
yeah,
that.
yeah. So that is what. Now, if I would have had a real actress, like for example, what I had planned on doing is, the this where the grave was at, and I come crawling out of it and stuff. I was gonna have an actress stand, like, pull up to the house, right, in her nice car, get out, stand by the grave, and then spit on the grave and say, "This is exactly what you deserve," and then walk into the house.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, see, but I had no human.
Right.
So I was like, well,
Right.
that scene's got on the chopping block.
Well, you could always probably try and use it later on if
Yeah,
you need to. You know,
yeah.
imagine the
So
possibilities.
yeah, exactly. So
Right.
but and that's why it would have been way longer. Like not only that scene, but you would have had action scenes of where like I would have had a actual physical fight with a you know it wouldn't have been John Wick, but it would have been something
Right. It would
fun
have
to
been something.
watch.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, I had troubles, but you know what? Overall, it worked. The movie
Right.
came out.
Hey, like Queen says, show must go on. So,
That's right. The show must go on. So and that's what happened.
okay. And Brandy wanted to know where she can watch Blinded by the Darkness. You can actually watch Blinded by the Darkness on YouTube. And a matter of fact, I'll go on it. A matter of fact, after this interview, it's in the show notes below to where you guys can actually go ahead and watch the movie for your own self and everything after this interview. And it's called, and a matter of fact, in the descriptions below, it will say "Blinded by the Darkness," Creighton Hobbs film. So you'll be able to click on that link, and it'll take you directly to it. Good question.
Awesome. Good question.
Um, let's see here. Cosmic Cosmology said, "Same. We wished it was longer."
Me too.
And then Tamika, do you want to stay in the indie market with filming or branch out?
That's a good one. Uh, I like the indie, to be quite honest, because like with when you're in the indie market, right? It's like I have more freedom. I have more creative freedom to do stuff that I wouldn't be able to do, you know. And it's just that now would I branch out? Yeah, I mean, heck, yeah. If somebody offered me a bunch of money, possibly, I would think about giving up that freedom. But
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
I mean,
Right. Exactly. Of course, you would want to try and branch out and try and
sure,
get noticed a little bit
yeah,
more, you know? And
sure,
who knows? You could probably try and sell this to the highest bidder over on an independent film festival, or something, for
yeah,
example.
yeah.
You
You
know?
never know. I mean,
Imagine the possibilities. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless, you know, if you
mm-hmm.
actually think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
But that is a very good question, Tamika. I'm glad that you actually thought about that. That's really good. Um, but another thing, though, too, I was just wondering, where did you get your inspiration to make the film?
Okay, so I've got my prop hat on, and because I knew that was coming up. Where did I get the inspiration? Well, I wanted to give people something to watch on Halloween, right?
Right.
I wanted to give people like um something different because I know what it's like and I know what everybody's going through of Halloween. Let me see something I haven't seen. Let me see something that's like different, you know? And we all can't go to the movies and watch a new Halloween movie or a new Friday the 13th. And so I just put on I just put it on my creative hat, started writing out ideas, started forming it, and I was like, I want to make it. And my creative brain just made this.
Awesome, man. That's really cool. I love hearing how you actually have a chance to actually make something, and you do. As a matter of fact, Brandy actually has a question for you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite film out of everything you have done?
Oh, my favorite film. Whew, gosh, there's I guess the one movie, as in, since it's Halloween, and happy Halloween, everyone, uh, is that I could sit there and watch over and over and over and never get tired of it. The Shining.
I can definitely agree with that. That's
And
actually my choice as well. Well,
hmm
I also like the sequel though. I really enjoyed Doctor Sleep as a
oh
sequel.
yeah, that was great.
That
Yeah.
was a really great sequel. And
hmm
it's a Stanley Kubrick movie, but he also made the director actually made it his own movie though too.
Yeah.
So I really like it.
Yeah.
Another thing that I was wondering too, though, out of everything that you've done, what would you say was your favorite film that you actually made?
That I've made, probably my favorite one that I've made, probably the it's kind of a neck and neck thing, but probably the gosh, The Mystery of Winnie Evans.
Okay,
That's on Amazon. The Mystery of Winnie Evans, because to me that was the thing that got me noticed,
okay,
and and that got me on Amazon and all that stuff, and that the distributors saw, and but to me, when I was doing it, it was doing what I did with Blinded by the Darkness, right? It was just me getting out there and doing what I love, trying to create something. And
that's awesome. But what is that movie about, though? I'm just kind of curious.
The Mystery of Winnie Evans is a documentary actually about my mom's aunt. And, we all have got that thing in our family tree. It's like, what happened to that person? Well, that's what Winnie Evans, nobody knew what happened to her. And I started digging and investigating and using my investigative journalism that I've learned and I've done in the past. But and I figured out what happened to her. And this happened in like the 1920s. So I actually follow in her footsteps. Like, she went from like Mississippi all the way to St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I have
so
to check that out after this. I'm gonna have to check out that film now
all right,
and
yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
So that was actually pretty cool, man. Because the very first thing that I actually noticed on was, of course, the little Facebook group that we actually have, where I was actually saying, "Hey, look, I'm looking for someone to interview,"
Yeah.
and you just went on ahead, and without any question, we winded up doing it for a year now. So it's
Yeah.
been great.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, that was fun for me because I was out in the road, and I was getting all my
Right.
shots together, and it was just but you're doing something that really happened. So, I got to take aspects of it and do little recreations of with actors and
Okay.
actresses. So it was fun.
My other question though too is like, what's the most challenging thing you had to do with this film?
With what?
What was the most challenging thing that you did with this film?
The most challenging thing about it to me was making sure that I didn't give too much away. Meaning, I wanted to give the audience enough to keep you. I wanted to, and that's kind of difficult not to give away. Yeah, you got to know how to take a story and pace it. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's So when I was filming this, I was like, well, I wanted to make sure that I was in the right steps of going from point A to point Z, the beginning to the end, and doing it enough to where people would watch it and say, "Wow."
I like that though. I mean, I'm glad that you gave much away. I didn't feel like you gave anything away. I don't think anybody else does either.
Yeah.
So you definitely did a good job on that part. The thing that I really liked was when you picked up the gun and then you go inside the house and everything. But another thing though too, I remember when I saw just snapshots of you being tied up and everything, and you posted them like, is he kidnapping himself? What is he doing
Right.
with this?
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure what you were going for at first, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I'm doing a short film." I'm like, okay, now that makes
Now it
sense.
makes sense.
So
Yeah. So yeah. I know. I got a few messages from people. It's like, "What are you doing?"
Creighton lost his mind.
Yeah, I
We need to
know.
go ahead,
Yeah.
man. But
Most people that like know me. They're like, I bet he's making something. He's making a film or something.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So now the moment that everybody's been wanting to know: do you have plans to make a sequel to the story? Are you, because everybody's wanting a sequel. Everybody's wanting some type of explanation to what they have seen, and they're thirsty for it, man. So go ahead, drop that sweatiness that you have for the film, and give us what you have.
Okay. So I am in the process right now of writing a limited series, 6 episodes of Blinded by the Darkness, and I'm almost finished with episode 1. I'm writing it out in script form. It ain't like writing it on a piece of paper or, typing it out in story form. It's actually script. And that takes time, and so it's going to be 6 episodes, probably 45 to 55 minutes each episode. And I've talked to my distributor, and they've already said that they would be more than happy to distribute this. They was like, we can do that for sure. So I was like, and so that's really, really, and I think you are on mute. Uh,
I
okay,
am because
okay.
I didn't want no background noise or anything like that taken away from what you're trying to say.
Okay. And
So
so,
I was just giving you your time to actually talk and
sure. Oh,
everything.
okay,
So
my
wait.
bad. I was like, wait a minute, it went quiet. Yeah, it's getting
Right.
mysterious, but but like I am writing that, and so once I get done with writing it out, and that's done and finished, then I'm gonna go and start. I don't know, Kickstarter, GoFundMe thing, and try to raise up enough money to get me going to where I can actually hire actors and actresses, and I can go to certain locations and really make it top notch well to my
Right.
ability as much as possible. And like it's the episode, the limited series. It's really gonna intertwine. Yeah, you know how like Game of Thrones, how you can watch one episode, but 2 episodes later it'll answer that thing to the. That's the way I'm doing it. I'm making
Okay.
where one episode or the next episode is going to answer everything that you're going to, and then of course it's going to do to the big build up of you know well, I'm not
Right.
gonna
Okay. Oh, Tamika said this, and of course she's giving me a hard time because I said this. Sweaty. He goes, sweaty.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then she said, "Yay! I can't wait," and I can't wait either.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
This is
so I'm in the process of letting my creative mind get it all on paper, and once you get it on script, then then I can get to going with it,
all
full
right. That's
force.
awesome.
So I'm I'm hitting the keyboard as much as I can think and as it comes to me. But
Right.
it's gonna be a lot answered. Like for example, people that watch this, what I've done, this short film, the lady, and this is kind of like a spoiler, but just to satisfy people, the way I had it written originally, there is a backstory with that lady and me, who there was history there, but I was going to give like a small recreation of like, well, this guy, who got, me, he was kind of a POS, just a terrible human, because I was going to show where he wronged her, and that's why she
Oh
went.
wow.
Yeah. So it was really going to be a lot deeper, what I originally wanted. And I'm reintroducing that to the new script. And
Okay.
so like there's going to be like when you're watching it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Tamika's going to be
And
like, give me a season 2, please.
right. And you know what though? It kind of also reminds me of the movie The Gift with
Mm,
what's his name from Horrible Bosses, Jason Bateman, who's also in Ozark.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what? It kind of has that kind of vibe going where in The Gift he sees this guy from his high school from his past that he hasn't seen in years, right?
Yeah.
So at first you're thinking that this guy is actually the victim, where Marty, which is also Jason Bateman's character, you're actually thinking that he's actually the victim. But as you
But
get deeper into this thing,
yeah.
he's not the victim that he's playing up to be.
Uh-uh. Mm-mm.
Oh, your
Mm.
mom said, sounds like you need to do a prequel.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm gonna write a whole season out, so.
I love it.
Yeah.
And Tamika, she says 2 to 7 seasons, please.
Oh, yeah, right. With Frenchie as the voiceover.
Right. But yeah, I totally agree with that. Frenchie as the voiceover and everything would be perfect.
And so yeah, I mean, the way I'm writing it goes so deep. I mean, like it's gonna be one of those where you're just gonna beg for more, and that's great because that makes me want to do more.
Right. And I'm happy about that, though, man. I'm really happy with the way that you're actually doing things. You're keeping yourself busy during this crazy time. And also, too, you're giving us something to look forward to and to know that there's more that we're actually going to be getting. And that's just a little small slice of the pie.
Yeah,
So I'm just thrilled about this.
and if once I get done writing the scripts out and stuff, I am hiring an actor to do the thing that I did. I'm gonna be like, dude, no, that gurgling the blood thing.
Oh, Tamika. Oh, yes, Frenchie. Or in the movie as a boss villain.
International Canadian French boss.
Yes. Because we haven't seen that before. We haven't seen a Canadian French mobster. before. So
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I just made a new villain. Yeah.
so we could definitely make that work. I just have to go ahead and talk Frenchie into it.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
When he said that, you could definitely see Frenchie as the villain.
Yeah, oh yeah. That would be awesome. Heck yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else that anybody wants to ask us
Yeah.
and everything before we close out? Because we want to answer any questions that you guys actually have as fans, as film fans. This is for you guys just as much as it is for us. We are thrilled to actually be doing this interview. So we want to go on ahead and make sure everybody has their questions answered that wants to be answered and everything. If not, I always go on ahead and I always go through my comments and everything to see if anybody answered anything later on or anything like that. So if you guys
Sure.
have any questions later on, I'll go on ahead and I'll let Creighton know, and Creighton will go on ahead and respond to your question.
Sure, that's right. I'll be happy, more than happy to do it, Um, but you have to oh somebody
Tamika. She says,
I'm
make those calls, John. I'll see what I can do, Meeks. I,
yeah,
I will see what
yeah.
I can do.
John's like, I'll do that. I'll have my people get in touch with his people.
Right. Speaking of Frenchie, he's actually going to be on the show tomorrow night. We're actually doing a
Very
recap.
cool.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we're supposed to do a Halloween recap of all the movies that we reviewed. So we're going to be doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And Tamika, if you're available tomorrow, you're more than welcome on the show as well as always. But I want to include you as
Mm.
well because we're actually on a couple of episodes where we were reviewing some movies.
Right. Oh, that is so great. Yeah, y'all have to tune in for that for sure. And I will. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it for the show and everything. Where can everybody follow you?
I am on Facebook and YouTube uh, at Creighton Films. So, like, if you go on Facebook, type in Creighton Films or YouTube, Creighton Films, and I'll pop up. That's my main two platforms and that kind of thing. So,
Okay. And everybody, you can follow me. Hold on. I want to show Tamika. She goes, I want to show with Crichton and Frenchie. What about me, Tamika?
oh, well, yeah,
What about me?
yeah, John, you got to be the
I'm just chopped
referee.
liver.
Yeah, you've got to be the manager of the insane asylum. When you get us all in here.
Well, you know what, Tamika? I can actually make that happen because I'm going to give you the password probably to where you can actually do that. So if you want to have your own little Tamika show, you can on some nights and everything. So you can go and say chatting with Meeks or talking with Meeks or
Ooh,
anything you want to make it to be. It's your show. So I'll go ahead and give you access if that's actually what you want. I'll give you your own show because I've been telling
oh,
you that you need to actually make a librarian show for a podcast for a while. So I think you can do it. You have the radio
mm-hmm.
voice for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That is very,
Oh,
very true.
your mom. She said this was fun. Thanks for this time. You're very welcome. I'm glad that you
Oh,
were able to join us,
yeah.
Mrs. Hobbs. I do
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks, Mom. And yeah, I know I'm like one of those famous football players and stuff. Like when they go and catch their first touchdown, and then they go and spike the football, they look at the camera and they say, "Hi, Mom." That's me.
That's probably me too as well.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you guys want to follow me, you guys can. You can follow me at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite. You can also go ahead and donate to the show. How do you do that? I'm glad you guys asked. You can go on ahead and go do a GoFundMe. We actually have www.gofundme.com/movie lovers unite. Go on ahead, donate over there, or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/movie lovers. You can go on ahead, donate towards the show that way. Buy me a cup of coffee, get me jacked up on some caffeine, or whatever else that you want to do. I'll go on ahead and take it. So we'll do that. Another thing too, we also have a place for all your entertainment needs. It's called www.movieloversunite.com. We actually post movie articles, movie reviews, and other movie related, TV related articles as well, because we also do TV stuff as well. You can also follow us on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit, and you can also follow me at DonDiegorio8 on Twitter, and then we also have a Pinterest called Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite as well, and also on Instagram as well with Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite as well. And then also too, you can also go ahead and get an audio only feed of this interview later on, sometime tomorrow, and it'll be available on all platforms that you can actually think of for all your needs as far as podcasting goes. And always until next time, guys, it's been fun. It's been real. It's been really fun. Thank you, Creighton, for being on. Now you're trying out to be a wizard, so or maybe you're trying to be Eminem from 8 Mile. So,
Happy
so
Halloween, everyone.
happy Halloween. Everyone
Oh
stay
God.
safe. Don't drink too much Kool-Aid. Don't drink too much beer or whatever you're drinking. Stay safe, and always until next time. Bye bye. We'll be back on the audio only podcast tomorrow with Frenchie doing our Halloween recap, and